Hello, everybody. I may have just seemed surprised to that I was going live, because I kind of was, but I was planning on being here. I didn't just wake up here. Anyway, so I need to make sure that my sound is working properly. So I'm going to do that really quick because it didn't work last time. Testing. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Testing, testing. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm sorry for the delay and the wait. Anyway, I am here. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I get it now. Okay, it's not doing the crackling. Testing. That's good news. I'm in. Okay. Ranelle will be with us shortly. We are starting a little bit without her because she needed just a minute more, but she will be with us soon. But I wanted to go ahead and get started and start talking a little bit about the topic today, which is that, death. And we always end up talking about, death and life after that, and the near-death experience that Ranelle had, amongst many, many others that have experienced it, um, actually passing over to the other side and then coming back, and they can tell a story, right? And in speaking with Ranelle and many others, it's never happened to me. It's not like it happens all the time, but we can at least get a glimpse of what that's like. So I wanted to talk about that, but also in the sense that, yes, that can bring hope, right? It can bring a little hope that there is more after this, because the alternative would be nothing, and that would be a terrible existence. Well, non-existence, I guess. It would just be nothing, and I don't believe that that's true. I believe that we do continue afterwards, so there is hope in that, but it's important to recognize the true pain of the separation that occurs when somebody passes into the next life. And for those that are left behind, those that are there, from what I understand from people that have been there, there's a peace that occurs. And at least for many that I've spoken to, a peace exists that makes it so they're not going to miss us as much as we miss them, but we sure do miss them. And there's pain in that separation. And so I'm going to tell a little bit about my dad tonight. He passed away from COVID, or at least was taken to the hospital by COVID, and the hospital gave him medication that did not go well for him. Anyway, he passed because of that, and so we've had to deal with that for the past couple of years, and it's been very difficult. Even though at times I have personally felt him come and be there, which doesn't happen often, but there's been a few times that it did, and it was very comforting and nice to feel that same presence that I had while he was alive. But it's definitely not the same, right? It's something that we all have to deal with in life, is death. We each have to pass through that. And so understanding what's on the other side can give us that, a longer view of what our existence is. But it doesn't take away from the pain that exists. So anyway, my dad was a very integral part of my life. As I guess fathers tend to be. But he was a cornerstone of my family and extended family and all of that. All of the people that he touched. He was a leader. He was kind in a way that was he was kind in a way that he was driven, but he also was kind about being driven. He was what corporate America should look like, but it doesn't. He was very good to people and cared about people, loved them. And so his passing was a huge blow to me and my entire family, right? Even knowing that he's there, even knowing that he's going to be there when I pass, even knowing all of that, it hurts nonetheless. And it's something we all have to face. So most of us have had that experience of losing someone that's dear to us in our lives. And so we have to mourn. We have to, it's part of the plan. It's part of how we can cope with it. We mourn, and it's so much better to mourn together as a group or with family or with others. So that's why we do funerals. That's why we do all of that. But I think it's difficult to even think about the idea that many people believe that it just ends. And if it were that way, I would feel very, I don't know, it would just be a very sad existence for all of us. And I want to extend, any kind of hope that it will continue our existence, and not in this hell that we live in this world. It can have good moments, right? But it's hard for all of us. And so it does get better. And if you watch our previous shows, you'll see at least the ones that don't have technical difficulties, which I hope this one doesn't. So if you watch any of them, you'll be able to see the experiences that Ranelle had going to the other side and what that was like. You can also read her book, The Burning Within, and that gives a very good glimpse at what it is like. How we end up there, our person we don't just change. We are still the same person. We're still, if we're tend to be an angry person, we're going to continue to be an angry person, or those things will follow us, but the things of the world won't. Like, money and, I guess hunger. I get maybe different kind of hunger, but we don't have to deal with those kind of things. But how we live here does directly affect what our life and continuing life is going to be. Just like I believe we came from somewhere as well. So it is we are eternal. We are something that will exist. It's hard for us to understand that kind of time frame. But we are. And so that is something that I hope each of us can take and try and resolve the things in our lives that are at odds with who we want to be, at odds with who we desire to become. And so I wanted to bring that up and discuss it. I wanted to discuss it with Ranelle, and she'll be on hopefully pretty soon. But I will say I care deeply for what we have in this life. I have 5 kids, and they are very important to me. And I want to be in this world for as long as possible so that I can be with them and help them become the people that they want to become. And, I try to teach them in ways that I think are good, but I'm still going to love them regardless of whatever decision and whatever direction they go. And I think many parents can understand what that's like. So as they progress and I, progress as well, and so at some point pass, I hope I can leave them with enough to be able to navigate, like my father left me. He left me with enough to navigate this world, even though sometimes it feels uh, like I can't or I'm not navigating it well. He gave me what I needed, and so I hope that each of us can realize the importance that we have in each other's lives. Mainly, first and foremost, within your family unit. And then beyond that, we can extend to extended family and friends, which I consider those of you that watch us to be that, at least at some level, even if I don't know you personally quite yet. I know some of you, so hello, you. But I do see opportunity for us to continually grow. Now, there is one thing about the other side that I specifically want to bring, which is the way that we communicate. Communication is very limited here in this world, and we just use our language. We speak, and we have mannerisms and all that kind of stuff that allows us to communicate, but we can't feel what others are feeling. We can't understand unless we've gone through some similar experiences, and even then, you're not them. So a lot of times we come to a place where there is contention, or there is fighting, or there is misunderstanding, and in the most important things in life, we all have so much in common. But we tend to focus on those things that aren't the same. So when we go to the other side, and what I understand as the people I've talked to that have been there, according to their accounts, you can express yourself in a way that can be completely understood. And that is a fascinating idea and tool that could be great for our future in understanding each other. But at the same time, privacy, what about that? What does that leave us with? And so I, on the whole, love that idea. But I'm not sure how that works on a grander scheme, how that works for each of us. And I don't think even they know that they've been to the other side completely, know exactly how that's going to look. But I do like, I at least see that is how things communicate. It's almost like an emotional telepathy, or you're able to understand. And so I think that is a great thing. And all misunderstandings can be moved to, we just disagree, or we understand each other completely, but that's not me, or it is me, and I just completely misunderstood what this other person has been going through their entire life. And I want to be able to communicate with people that way and express those things. So that is something that I look forward to personally. But I'm not trying to get there anytime soon, because I don't want to leave my family with the pain and that I've felt in losing those that I love. So I wanted to express solidarity to those that have lost, and especially recently, if they've lost them in the past couple of years, because that's when it stings the most. Time doesn't really heal it, but it allows us to move on and be able to live a life without them. So, all of this that I talked about so far would have actually lasted a lot longer had Ranelle, come in and been here, which I'm still looking forward to seeing her. She should be here shortly. And I'm going to make sure that my sound is working properly. Interesting. At odds with who we desire to become. And so I wanted to... Those pauses aren't technical difficulties. They're just the way I talk. So you're just going to, sorry about that. Anyway, so recently I went up to Park City, which is a city here in Utah. And we had a condo that my family owned for since the 80s. And my mother is selling that. And so I got to go and say goodbye and deal with the emotions that went along with it. It's just a piece of real estate. It's just a place, which that's not what was important to me. But there were memories there that really connected me to my dad, my mom, my family, because that's where we would go for getaways or trips. And saying goodbye to that brought back a lot of the emotion that goes along with losing somebody. And that was just this week. And I just remembered some of the firsts. We had a family meeting that was there where we expressed our testimony of Christ with each other. And that was a very memorable experience that happened in that place. And for me, at least. And it was wonderful to be able to express. And I told my kids about these memories. There was a few others that I won't share here because I want to hear everything about me. But I was able to pass on some of those memories that were important to me. Now, are they going to remember everything? Probably not. But at least they'll know what was I thought was important. And I think a lot of times we try to pass on to our children so much of ourselves and try to make their lives great and try to make it so they can enjoy life, or just it hurts to see them hurting or having problems. But I think we have I do think we have a major impact on them, but it's usually not the way that we think. It's they tend to grow up and get their own opinions and start to desire to be independent, and that is natural and good. But nonetheless, we're also separating in a way there as they grow. And so that's another thing to mourn, or mourn the separation and the things that we had, and be grateful for what we've had, because as we go into new things in our life, having that gratitude for the past allows the future to be more bright. And that is the cycle. That's the cycle that we find ourselves living in. And we'll go to the next life, and hopefully that can continue for the good things can continue. Let's get rid of the bad and just throw that out. Yeah. Anyway, talking by yourself is difficult, especially, if you have like a monologue or something. I'm just kind of putting out there my thoughts. So this is my thoughts, YouTube, and hopefully, you'll not hate them, so like and subscribe the channel, as well as leave a comment. Talk to us. Tell us what you want to hear about when it comes to specifically the other side, and also express or anything that goes along with family and faith. Those are the topics that we really want to discuss. So let us know, leave us messages, all that jazz, and we will respond. So if we can each find within ourselves the grace and the patience with each other, I think we'll make it through this election year, because it's kind of crazy out there, right? And so, and beyond that, it's just a more narrow view of things right now and our current events. But if we give each other that room to be able to make mistakes or be able to enjoy each other's company and things like that, I just want more patience and more care amongst each of us. And so I think that that's a good thing to strive for. Remember those people in your lives that are angry or that are dealing with things that you don't know about or you don't understand. Give them grace. Give them space is the only word that's coming to mind right now, but that's not correct. It's give them the room to be able to grow, and show them support, show them love, show them kindness. And you don't need to get in a fight. You don't need to push your opinion or try and be right all the time. It's more important that we get along and that we are united in good, positive things, and things that unite us. That's more important than the things that divide us. And so if we can come to an understanding in that way and be okay with the differences of opinion, and we've all experienced things so differently. But yeah, so there is life after death. There really is. But it can sure feel like death is just the end for especially those that leave behind. So I am going to attempt to get a hold of Ranelle and see what's holding her up or when she can be on. Bear with me. There we go. I'll send her a message. I just, explaining that I'm out of, juice. I'm out of topics that I had planned to talk about until she comes. But let's move on to something else. Anyway, if somebody is out there that wants to give me a suggestion or something you want to talk about, that'd be great. But truth. Yeah. So as we look at it, and we talk about here on Alive Again, the show focuses in on what it's like after death, and how that affects us and what that means for us. And a lot of times that can cross over into religion and faith and things like that. But I understand that each of us has, different beliefs and different ideas of what religion or what our beliefs are. They can be different, and that's okay. I'm just taking the evidences that I've seen and that I've learned from experience with Ranelle and others that have experienced these things, just to spread it out there with you. Now, you have to decide what's true. Truth is truth, but you have to be able to decide if it is or not and come to an understanding. So I encourage you to do that. I think it's brought me a lot of peace and understanding to look into this topic, and try not to be overly religious about it, because I don't want to alienate or make it toward we're just in a vacuum of information. I want to hear the experiences of others, no matter what faith or lack of faith or even religion, or if they have one or not, whatever it may be. Those are the people I want to reach and speak to, and this is my attempt to do so. So, join us here at Alive Again for that. If I were to give my opinion when it comes to religion, which I won't today, I'm Christian and I believe in Christ and many of the things that come along with that. And many of us, I think, out there that will probably listen to this are Christian. And that will affect how we view things, because that's just part of our life, our experience, our life view. And so, but I do want to hear from those that believe completely different. Maybe even those that don't believe me at all, think this is a bunch of, hooky stuff or hokey information. I don't think that it is. And I've had experiences that, to me, are evidences of what that is true. But perception matters, and those things that exist, that are real, that are true, can be interpreted different ways. And so I want to put that out there as well. So hopefully Ranelle can be here. If not, I will. I wonder if there's a pause on the stream. Maybe, but because that's all I have right now, and I don't want to just hold you here for nothing. So if we can get back on, we will. But for now, let it be what it is, which is, I love y'all. I think we have good lives in general. And I want to express my gratitude for what I have in life. And that mainly comes with, just my family and the blessing I have to have a dad that was good, that loved me, and was, even though he's gone now, he was an amazing influence on my life. And so, as well as my mom and brothers, I don't have any sisters other than sister-in-law, but my brothers were great too. Things weren't perfect, and life is hard, but I am grateful, very grateful for those people. And also the fact that I've never been homeless. I'm grateful for that. I've always had a home. And so that is a blessing. We should be grateful for what we have, and I am. So much love to all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. We are going to plan on still Sundays at 8. I think we may change that and a few other things with the show, but maybe change the day as well. But we're talking about that and coming to an agreement. But you guys have a wonderful week, and hopefully we will see you very soon.